at ESC United, your favorite Eurovision channel. Welcome back. It's the ESC United expert panel, and my expert people are right here with me. It's Connor, Sean, and James. The four of us will discuss the songs, or some of the songs that are in the running or were in the running. I need to remember it's past tense. 2020, 41 of them, and we are discussing Ukraine today. And Go A, I believe that's how we pronounce it, won the Ukrainian national final with Solovey. Take a listen. And now it's time to share our thoughts and our scores. Actually, let's start with our thoughts and then work our way towards the points that we have given them. First up, James, what are your thoughts on the Ukrainian entry?
I had two fears coming into this particular entry. One, it was put on by Vidbeer, and with their rule change and with Vidbeer usually being a dumpster fire, I was a little worried about what we were going to get. And then also as well with the rapid implosion of the folktronica of Conan Osiris at Eurovision last year. I was also worried about that. So going into this one, I was pleasantly surprised. I really do like Goe's particular brand of folktronica, or folk combined with electronica. And it also kind of references another failure from last year, Tulia's Fire, in that they sort of try a little bit with the white voice. But unlike last year where it kind of clashed a bit, this year I think it really goes well on the underlying track. And then I also like the story behind it. The staging for this would probably have taken a lot of elements visually of Ukrainian folklore. I believe Solovey means nightingale in Ukrainian, and there's a sort of underlying, like almost childhood story behind it, a folk tale behind it. So with those all elements combined, I really do enjoy it.
All right, how about you, Connor?
Yeah, I'm on a similar boat here. This is a song that I also really do enjoy, and I guess at this point I'm highly convinced that like Ukraine cannot send a bad song to Eurovision, and I don't know if it's because of like where their music industry is right now, or if maybe they just that's how strong Vidbeer is every year. But like what I appreciate the most out of this song specifically is the fact that this is probably the most Ukrainian sounding song that we've received since maybe 1944 with Jamala, where that one had a lot of kind of Ukrainian folk sounds mixed into it. But this is also the first time that they've actually sent an entry that's entirely in Ukrainian rather. They've had it at the contest here and there, but it's also been like Englishified, where it's mostly English and Ukrainian. This one's purely native tongue. And so that's something that I really appreciate. I think Ukraine was like, we're going to go bold this year. Obviously, they sat out last year because of all of the tomfoolery that happened over there. So I think that they were ready to make a big statement in returning to the contest.
Yeah, that's all very good points. I am surprised that nobody of you has started your review with, I have an uncomfortable question for you. That should have been like such an obvious one to use. In case, Sean, you were going to use that, sorry for taking that. But seriously.
No, you're okay. Don't worry.
Okay, I'm okay. I'm again on a similar boat as the two of you. I think it just has really cool, dark, modern beat to it with traditional Ukrainian folk sound, and it just perfectly execute like the way they merge these together. I'm very impressed with this song, and this could have been super annoying, kind of like Poland, some people perceived as, but as James pointed out, it just works better the way they executed it. It's basically brilliant. It's a very interesting chorus, and with a great staging like they had in the national final and backdrop, this would have gone big in Rotterdam. I have no doubt about it. And it just accentuates the feel of the song, the whole colors, and like the singer and everyone else had like these very serious facial expressions. They were not like smiling, Solovey, yeah. It just really added a cool vibe to the mood. You know what I mean? And it absolutely worked. Because usually when sometimes people have cold kind of facial expression, it sometimes can be off-putting, but it just worked so well there. So everything has been executed so well. I love this Ukrainian sound. Connor, you pointed out, it is, you know, something we don't get to hear as much as we would like to. It's a really good song. I liked it from the get-go, and I wish I had given my points later on because now I love it even more, and my score feels like it doesn't give it justice enough in just a minute. They definitely deserve to represent Ukraine next year if they come up with something similar, because we need that kind of music at Eurovision. So I'm a big fan. How about you, Sean?
The first thing I would say about it is that when it comes to the white voice, just on a personal preference, it can be really hit or miss with me.
Yeah.
Because obviously, for Western ears, I guess it can be quite a harsh sound. So it is always a risk sending something like that. It is obviously true to Ukraine's values and their traditions, and I like that because, you know, Ukraine have been another one of these countries that have gone sort of on the all-out offensive to do well or win. And have a broad appeal. So it's nice to have something like this. I think it's really well produced. I love the sort of the bird chirping sounds that they've included in it, which obviously if the song means nightingale makes complete sense. And I think it's really well put together. And one thing I would say is that Ukraine are the masters of the revamp. And it's a very subtle one that they've had this year. But I think the revamp just beefs it up a little bit more and makes it more attention grabbing for me. So yeah, Vidbeer is a very strong national final. I did feel like this was going to win, but it's nice to see Ukraine try something different that still has their values. So yeah, I appreciate this one.
All right, so warm comments from the team here, but that could mean nothing if our scores don't follow suit. So let's find out. We ranked them all from 10 to being super high to 1 being the opposite, and then let's see where it falls. Before we're going to get to the team score, let's talk about our scores. So, Connor, what did you give it?
So, for my score, I gave it a perfect 10, and it's for a lot of the reasons that I had mentioned earlier. Number one, this is one of the best Ukrainian songs that they have sent since Jamala in 2016. The song itself is unapologetically Ukrainian, and I highly, highly appreciate that the band at the very beginning, so like right after they were selected and confirmed for Eurovision 2020 after the contract signing, went on record saying that we are not adding English to this song. Like it's staying exactly as it is, because their goal in entering Vidbeer was to get a Ukrainian song to the Eurovision stage that was purely in Ukrainian. So I have so much respect for this artist and this band. I have so much respect for the genre and the weird niche genre that they exist in. And again, I think that this is a perfectly amazing song that finds that balance between 3 really difficult genres to create and blend together.
All right, how about you, James? What's your score?
Are you going to record your B-side for Solovey? Solovey, cha-cha-cha.
Cha-cha-cha.
Yeah. Overall, as for my score, I give it an 8. I find it's very finely balanced, well done. As Connor mentioned, just a perfect balance of 3 usually difficult to combine elements. We've seen folk chronica go wrong before. We've seen white voice in another genre go wrong before. So hats off to them for doing it as well as they've done.
All right, I can basically only echo what you guys were saying. It is, and Sean made a good point about, you know, when it comes to white noise. That's what we have in an office. White voice. That's where it's a hit or miss with me, but it's just done so well here. And I gave it an 8.5 because I had to do it by the deadline. I probably would have given it a 9 by now, but 8.5 is still good. So Ukraine, job well done once again. There's a reason why you never fail to qualify, because you always send something that works. So and you would have continued that in 2020. I think we all can agree on that. Sean, what is your score?
Like I said, I do enjoy the song. I have to say it's not one of my favorites this year. You know, it's not like a standout, but it's a perfectly pleasant listen. I think I would rank it now. Well, my score now is higher than it would have been before the revamp, because I think it's beefed it up and made it more interesting to me. I gave it a 7.5.
Okay.
which I think is fair because it's definitely a good quality song, and they've done really well with it. But it's just, for my tastes, it's just not quite that next bracket. So that's why I gave it that score.
All right. Still not too bad here, the scores that we have given, the four of us. But what about the rest of the team? Did they agree with us? Did they bring it down? Did they bring up the average score? Let's find out. Ukraine's score from the ESC United expert panel is 7.61. So that is a pretty high score. Now, Connor, going to you as the biggest fan of the song based on your score. You okay with it?
Oh yeah, I'm totally okay with that. And I think I'm not surprised that it's so high, especially when it has its own fan group name of the Church of Solovey. Like, this has been a song that when you're taking a look at a lot of people's rankings for Eurovision, and this is usually in the top 10 mark somewhere, maybe top 12 if we're pushing it. So it makes sense that this one would be very highly regarded because it's highly talked about. It's highly beloved in the fandom. And I think that, like I said earlier, this is a great song from Ukraine and could have done really well at Eurovision.
All right. Now, Sean, you said it didn't make quite your highest bracket yet, but what do you think about the score? It sounds about right? Or is it high?
Well, it's fair. It's similar to what I gave. So obviously, my taste is superior to everyone else's, and my opinion is always fact. So that just confirms that for me. But no, on a serious note, I can see that a lot of people like this. It has all the hallmarks of something that is, a decent Eurovision entry and something memorable. It's true to the values of Ukraine, which is always important, and I think a lot of people appreciate what the band are trying to achieve with this song. One thing I would say is that I am surprised that there aren't a couple of people that may have dragged it down to like a 6.5, 6.7, something like that. So I guess it's one of these that has broad appeal.
Yeah, it seems like people at least appreciate, what it brings to the table. And what you guys said, I agree with. I'm so glad that this is in the running. We need music like that at Eurovision just for diversity reason and just for cultural representation, for the lack of a better word, I guess. I think it is something so awesome. I'm so glad we have that. So I'm happy with that score. But is that enough to win it all? Do they end up in the top 10? Here is the scoreboard. As of right now, there are more songs to come, obviously, so stay tuned for that. This is your chance to subscribe to our channel so you can see when the next video is up. Maybe like the video if you enjoyed it, and if you didn't, then you can dislike it as well. That's fine. And leave some comments. Leave some comments. Where do you fall on the scale here? What would you give it? A 10, a 9, an 8, etc.? We would love to hear from you. All right, everyone. We got to move on to the next video. Thank you for watching. So bye-bye, and I'll talk to you later.